That's mostly like with the other Sonic games I grew up with. Well, I mean, you've got your classic, Sonic goes into 3D, like the DX. I've played a bit of DX or the Sonic Adventures it's called, but never finished it. It was a bit different to how I usually play it. I played Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance. That was different. And I even, if I really have to be honest, I own a copy of Sonic 06 or Sonic the Hedgehog for the PlayStation 3. A very infamous title. Oh god! But I've said you have to sort of endure the worst. Again, just hang on a second. Anyway, so. Again, I'm not too unfamiliar with Sonic, but I'm not too invested into it as much. Well, no, I am invested, but I just haven't had so much great experience of it, But I am open to playing most of the games that Sonic has to offer, of course. Even some of their spin-offs. I even had to go... I've even got a few... there was one I bought not long ago, I think this year, that had 3 of Sonic's classic games. There was Sonic CD... you know what? Fuck it. Actually, I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna go find it.
Meow?
Okay, so I had to go to my cabinet and actually dish out, because I have actually got quite a lot of games for the PS2 for Sonic. I even have Sonic Heroes. I remember borrowing this from the rental shop, and this was actually pretty fun. Again, that transition from 2D to 3D, especially from a third-person perspective, you're actually facing Sonic's perspective. So rather than the 2D landscape that we see here in Sonic, again, it's such an interesting take on it. I'm thinking, is this even a Sonic game? So one of the younger ones. But anyway, I've got 2 titles for the PlayStation 2. So the first one I do remember buying, but I've tried playing this and I don't know if it actually... I want to say it doesn't work and I've got scammed out of it. Not entirely sure. So, this is the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PlayStation 2. And it has Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles, that is. We also have Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. I don't recall that one, but I know it's there. Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball. I think that must have been the other one. And there's also Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. We also have plus Sega Game Gear games like Sonic Chaos, Sonic Drift, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic Blast even. Yeah, there's so much going on to this massive collection. It's like even like the Sega Genesis collection I have for the Xbox 360, which does have Sonic games, but not that many to what's listed. And I also have the Sonic Gems collection, which has like 3 big titles along with 6 other games that's also included. There's Sonic CD, Sonic Fighters, and Sonic R. I remember I haven't played Sonic Fighters because that's a solely arcade game. But I have seen what the gameplay is like. A bit janky, but, pretty fun, unless if you like to abuse the system with certain characters. But I do recall playing a little bit of Sonic R. I will admit, not by its actual physical cartridge, but it was a very sort of weird game, especially for a racing game as such. But, oh god, the soundtrack in that game is just unbelievably just amazing. It really is. And the Gems collection also has... See, look at that. We already got fucking 5 Chaos Emeralds to go. So we only have 1 more left. It's just absolutely crazy. But like I said, this is not a perfect run. I will admit to that. This is just purely, as a post-recording, I can do it this way. Yes, it would have been much more interesting and I guess funny if I did it as a live recording and you'd fucking see me struggle as shit. But, fuck it. Alright, so the other 6 games I've got is, I think I've, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, that was another one, and there's also Sonic Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, and Tails Adventure. So, contrary to belief, I guess, I do have quite a lot of Sonic games, at least the older ones that is putting. I've got Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and CD, the very first 4 Sonic games up there, really. And I've been exposed myself to most of them. I haven't finished most of them. I've only... let's see what I actually have finished. Well, I don't think you can count Sonic Finders as finished. It's like you need to unlock all the characters. But, you know, I finished Sonic the Hedgehog. And, you know, I finished it here, of course. Obviously. And I want to say I did also finish Sonic 3, but this was like later down the track. And Sonic 2 was kind of like out of the three originals, it's the one game I probably least exposed to, but you know, not that that's the issue at that point. But, holy shit! I think I was so close to finishing A Hero's Tale. I was like, fuck, that's Spyro. Fucking Sonic Heroes. Jesus Christ. Because there are four arcs that you choose, and then there's like a bonus arc that you do. There's even a Shadow the Hedgehog game on the PlayStation 2 that I really want to get because of its dark, edgy nature, as well as its awful, somewhat bogus, ridiculous storytelling. But again, you know, you get... That's why I have Sonic 06, because I know how absolutely absurd the game is, not just story-wise, but its mechanics too. But that's why I got it, because, you know, it is a great source of entertainment. Here in Sonic... Okay, so if Blake was here and he sees me playing this, he probably wouldn't have... He may, like, make fun of it like he did with, in Mario 64, because he hasn't actually played that much of it from memory, but he just absolutely fucking rips the absolute shit out of Sonic. Not Sonic, Mario, just simply because, you know... I guess in that title alone especially, that was more when Mario was more like the "It's me, Mario," because, you know, that was one of Charles Martinet's first voice roles of Mario. Not the first, but one of them, especially that really cemented his role as Mario. But anyway, back to Sonic. So, last bonus gem for the challenge, and then after that, so there was even at a point where I was at the next stage and I was thinking, well, what the hell's the ring? I actually kind of forgotten I had 6 Chaos Emeralds, but here I thought you had to get 7. Now, don't ask what the hell you're actually looking at. This all trippy background experience. These birds turn into fucking fish later on, especially with the psychedelic background that it kind of has. I mean, not that it's too psychedelic in a way. It's not visually distracting because of all the obstacles that at least Sonic drives around here. I found it hilarious that the very last Chaos Gem... It's sort of just there. You don't have to traverse into some sort of labyrinth like I had done with some of the others. It's just there. You just gotta... Now, there is ways where you're supposed to manipulate and control the actual stage, depending of what Sonic hits and touches, because you see there's up-down features, and there's even at times where the stage will go, right, well, I'm going anti-clockwise instead. So I still... Yeah, I'm aware that there are these changes, but I don't fully... Still haven't actually researched too hard into how it actually works. So, you know, I'm just saying, if you are in those situations, just be aware that it's not as simple as just turning the stage to your will. You know, the game may decide that it's going to change it for you, or, you know, other shit like that. But so far, that's, I suppose, all I have to say. Again, this is my, because this is the third stage, or the third act, I should say, you know. This wasn't so bad as what Marble Gardens was like, because Marble Gardens had a lot of fucking hazards that I had to watch out for. Primarily the lava, because especially, I think with at least if you use the first 6 stages, that's not Act 3. Ignore Act 3 because they have the bosses of Eggman. Eggman don't have bonus stages. So, you know, Act 1s and 2s for each world, I guess you can put it, would have these Chaos Emeralds waiting for you to grasp onto them. And like I said, you need 50 Chaos Rings for that to happen. I don't know if it's called Chaos Rings. Just call them rings, for fuck's sakes. But anyway, so especially when you're at the end, when you're near at the end, and all it takes is just one fucking hit, and all your rings are just lost. I mean, everyone knows that's how the mechanics for Sonic works. You know, you get hit, you lose all your rings. But especially in this one, it was very detriment that you don't actually fucking lose all that. Could you even cope? Ah, no, I'm just kidding. I just like how some of the neon signs, it had these random words. There was cope, there was even CPU, and I think there was fun or zone. I don't know why, but yeah. This was like before the whole world of the whole fun casino night sort of vibe-ish thing. This is like kind of its prototype right here. Very, very unusual, weird, but this was like a spring, well, I think it was called Spring Thing or something like that, I don't know. Now, obviously, Robotnik's phases of bosses, he had the swinging ball chain like Miley Cyrus in the first stage, and then the second one he had, what did he have? Oh, he went from like one over and spitting out fire. Just gotta be careful. Pretty piss easy stuff. This one was a bit of a challenge because obviously the more chocolate pieces that he'd pick up, yes, I'm referring to them in that, pick up all this chocolate, leaving very little space for you to land and jump from without falling through, because then that will be it. I think it takes about 6 hits, maybe 7, for depending on how he feels on a certain day, to defeat Dr. Robotnik, but there it was, you know, pretty straightforward, and that is Act 3 done. I am saying Act, right? Has passed? Yes, has passed Act 3. Okay. So there are, I think, 7 acts entirely, I think.